Never had a friend like this. Unconditional sloppy kiss. Got no problems that can't be licked. How can anybody resist? He's my buddy. Yes, I love that dog.
Hi, we're here today with Joan Dalton. She is the director and the founder of an amazing program called Project Pooch. We're at MacLaren Youth Correctional Facilities in Woodburn, Oregon, and Joan is going to tell us all about this amazing program and what it does both for the youth as well as for the dogs. So Joan, tell me about Project Pooch.
Well, Project Pooch started 15 years ago, and it was an experiment because it was the very first program working with dogs in a correctional site with juveniles. We get dogs from shelters and we match those troublesome dogs with troublesome youth, and they work out their issues, and the youth go back to the community as good citizens and good workers, and the dogs go to permanent loving homes.
Now let's clarify, Project Pooch, how are you connected to MacLaren?
Well, we're a nonprofit located on site at MacLaren. So we pay for the vet bills, the dog food, any materials we need for the kennel, uniforms for the youth, and the youth authority pays for one staff to supervise the youth.
How many boys do you have involved in the program currently?
We have 14, and that's the max we can have with only one staff. But when you have 14 youth and 14 dogs, you have your hands full for the day.
Leave it, come here, heel. Zoe. Zoe, heel. Right.
Most of the dogs that come to us at least are, some of them have issues on one kind or another, and the guys have to be creative in how they work with those dogs and their problem solving skills, how they go about working with those dogs. And then they get to see the success in what they've done, make a dog that would otherwise probably be euthanized, be a family dog.
Leave it. Zoe.
A lot of the guys do have problems of their own.
You can't get in if you just arrived at MacLaren. MacLaren has other treatment groups such as violent offender, anger management, drug and alcohol, and youth have to be taking those treatment programs and be progressing before they can even apply to get into Project Pooch. We let the youth who are in Project Pooch be on the interview team.
They ask you a series of questions. It's kind of intimidating at first.
What kind of questions did they ask you at panel?
Questions they would ask you would be like, you know, what's your experience with dogs? You know, why do you want to be a part of Project Pooch? Why should we hire you at Project Pooch? You know, there'd be like if questions, like, you know, if one of our supervisors asked you to do something, you know, what would you say to them?
A lot of them had problems with authority figures when they first come in, and so they have to listen to all of us, and if they don't agree with us, they have to learn how to resolve the conflict. And many of them have learned to do that very successfully. Or if they want to ask for something, sometimes they will ask Adam Bergen, ask Miss Dalton if we can get certain software for our computer, and he will tell them, no, you have to learn to go ask her. Don't ask me to ask her. And I think also working as a team, some of them are loners when they first come in, and they learn, hey, it's a team. You might have to walk someone else's dog today. You may have to care for someone's dog who just came in from a neuter or a spay and needs special attention.
It teaches a lot of them, you know, what they need to do. It makes them more mature and think things through. So, I mean, this job is a privilege on campus. It makes them stay out of trouble on their units. You know, if they go to school, because there's some that are just part-time that only come when there's no school. It teaches them that they need to do good in school too, to be able to stay down here. Because everything you do out there also reflects on how you're going to be able to, if you're going to be able to be down here or not.
It's basically just maintaining yourself and showing that you're an out of the ordinary person.
The guys are in charge of these dogs, everything about these dogs. They're in charge of keeping folders and paperwork and teaching them.
I actually had heard that you have to do more than just take care of the dogs when you're part of this program.
We got to keep their folders up to date, vaccinations and deworming, and...
You don't actually have to do the deworming.
We have to give them medication for it. We have to administer the medication and clean up after it's done. But yeah.
And then you actually clean out the kennels? For
Yeah,
your
every
dog?
day.
Every day.
Every day. We cut their nails, clean their ears. Depending on what kind of dog you have, you got to cut their hair, you got to give them baths.
So you actually might have to groom your dog.
Yeah, brush their teeth. We do groom our dogs. As soon as they come in, we give them a full check over, then we groom them.
Pretty clean.
If they come in, they're not spayed or neutered. Sometimes we got to take out sutures or keep wounds clean, wrap them, keep them up to date, make sure that they're not chewing on them and causing more infection and more problems. And then I'm one of the head trainers, so I gotta keep track of everybody else's training and make sure that they're staying focused on learning new stuff and new techniques. Go ahead and have them show me signals. So the signals are sit, down, stay, and then when you want them to heal, you just tell them to come over.
They come to work and they sign in and they sign out, and they are paid a portion of the adoption fee for the dogs that they train. So these dogs have to be trained and have to pass a test.
Canine good citizen, it's sit, down, stay, reaction to another dog, reaction to a sound. It's just basic doggy manners.
They get to stay as long as they want, as long as they do what they're supposed to do and are bumping up their skill level. So we have one that's been here almost 3 years. We have some less than a year. It helps us the longer they stay because then we don't have to retrain, because it's a lot to learn. We're learning every single day something new. They can take Pet Care Technician 1 and 2. Those are correspondence courses out of Colorado. So we try to give them as many certificates as possible to help them when they leave here.
I'm hoping to go to college to be a vet tech and then possibly move on from there, but for right now that's what's in my sights is the vet tech.
On my resume, I could put down that I have this much kennel experience, and then they'll look at that and be like, oh, well, he's experienced, he knows what he's doing, you know, that he'd be a good asset to our company.
I think the correction system views this program as very positive. They see youth having good turnaround here. You know that the youth, some youth will learn social skills down here that they didn't have. That if they didn't take that out into the public with them when they get out, they would have a hard time getting jobs, things like that.
This is a hugely successful program that people are emulating and wanting to figure out how to do in their own states, their own correctional facilities. How did you come up with the idea of Project Pooch?
Well, I knew prisons were doing dog programs, but they didn't actually have a kennel. Someone would maybe bring dogs in or birds, or some prisons had a couple of cats, and they found that it really calmed the prisoners, and they were getting a lot of really good results. And so I got some consultants who had successful programs to actually come to MacLaren and look at the site and make recommendations. And the adult prison here in Oregon, a prisoner there wanted us to start a dog program at the adult. And I said, no, I love this age. I mean, there's no age group I would rather work with. They're trying to be independent, but they're still dependent. They're still trying to develop their social skills. They're open to learning new things. They love it when we bring in speakers, and they're humorous as well.
I like watching them learn too, because they come in here and they're frustrated and they can't handle it, and then, you know, they're kind of embarrassed to be with their dog, like, hey, come here, boy. They're like, hey, come here. You know what I mean? I'm like, talk to them, get excited. They're like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? They get a little embarrassed. And
So you watch them grow as
yeah,
well.
You come down here and the dogs, they teach you stuff, and you got to have patience, and they don't care how mad you are. They're still going to play. They're here to have fun. They're excited every day, and you come in mad, like, oh, get away from me, and they're like, I don't care. None of that matters to them.
They do not care. That unconditional love.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about the program?
It's fun to see when they finally get it, when you've worked at it, and you're frustrated, and you don't want to do it anymore, and then all of a sudden you're just standing there, and it's almost like they know that, so they just do it. Like, they know that they push you to the limit, like they're doing it on purpose, and then you're like, man, why don't you just get it, and then they just do it.
You do see emotional changes in guys, whether they'd like to show it or not. You know, when dogs get adopted, you know that certain guys, you know, it's their special dog. When, you know, there's always the dog that comes through that the guys really love, and they really make a good bond with. And when you see that breaking of that bond, there is a little bit of hurt in them. You can see it. You know, a lot of the guys won't fess up to it, but you can tell that it bothers them.
At first, it was hard to kind of let go of my dogs, but now it's just I kind of gotten used to it to where, like, you know, I'm working with the dogs, I'm helping out the dogs, and I'm just working with something greater than myself now.
I think I do feel a little bit better about myself, you know. It just lets me know that I'm doing better, because if I think about how I was doing, say, 10 months ago, before I came into the program, I was a little bit worse than I am now. I mean, I think it's just helped me grow, mature, and be, you know, just up there.
What we try to do is make sure that whenever a dog leaves, we tell the treatment manager he may be feeling down this evening because his dog left today. But then the joyous part is they know that they found a good home for this dog that may have been euthanized, because we're taking dogs, you know, that jump up and bark, and people have kind of given up on them. And so the people who adopt these dogs come back and they say, oh, this is the best dog. You did the greatest job training. And then they feel so good that they gave back to their community. And many of them realize that this is a way, that they've done something, that they've had to come here and they have to pay a price for what they did. But this is a way to start giving back, and it opens their hearts. A student said once, some of us have never received the love that we needed or wanted, but these dogs give it to us.
Joan Dalton, the director, has helped set up programs, I believe, in Japan. They have one they're working on in Eastern Oregon, some other OYA facilities. And Project Pooch has done it's a program called Pooch 101, which is an opportunity for people to come in for a week and learn what the program's all about. The behind the scenes of the nonprofit side of Project Pooch, as well as how to run a kennel, how to pick out dogs, things like that. And it's proven, you know, the 15 years, Project Pooch has found out what works. They did a research on it, and 0 out of the 100 youth that they checked in on had gone back into a correctional facility or committed a crime.
Joan, thank you so much for letting us come see your facility today. We really appreciate it.
We enjoyed having you here, and if you know of anyone looking for a good trained dog, this is the place.
So you heard it right here. If you're looking for a great dog, this is Camille. She's ready for adoption. We also have a ton of other dogs inside that are all ready to go home with you. This is Mercedes Rose, bringing you the tools to become sustainable today.
Some call me a dog, leader of the pack. Some call me a hound, that's a natural fact.